It is interesting that there is also an emerging consensus in this House, among the public and among the business community, about both the scale of the issue and the need for an urgent response. So, Mr. Speaker, what is needed now, above all, is a plan for determined action. The Government has a working majority and it is quite clearly the duty of ministers to address this challenge and to address it as a matter of urgency. However, the question now facing the House is whether the Government has the political will to rise to this challenge, or whether ministers will continue to fail to acknowledge the scale of the task we now face. As my honourable friend said, so far the record is clear, and I'm afraid it is one of the Government's failure to step up to the challenge we now face. Both the Coalition and indeed the last two Conservative administrations have presided over rising carbon dioxide emissions from transport, due largely to increased pollution from road vehicles. At the same time, rail fares have increased dramatically, hundreds of bus services have been cut, and indeed walking and cycling growth is flatlining, with the Government missing its own targets to increase active travel. Mr. Speaker, this failure to tackle emissions at a time of climate crisis is quite simply unacceptable. What is needed now is a completely and utterly different approach, and it is clear from the progress being made by other countries, the Labour mayors of our great cities, and indeed the Welsh Government, that investments in public transport, in walking and cycling works and delivers real and tangible change and benefits. Investing to cut carbon dioxide emissions is not only desirable, it is absolutely essential. So, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to the Minister responding to these points, and I would urge him to press his colleagues in the Treasury for the necessary resources, investment and for real incentives for behaviour change, both for drivers to scrap polluting vehicles and to encourage far greater use of public transport and far more walking and cycling.